Spill the tea.
Yeah. Ooh. Alright. Woo. This is light work.
Come on, spill the tea.
Yeah. Ooh. Alright. Woo. This is light work.
Come on, spill the tea.
Yeah. Ooh. Alright. Woo. This is light work.
Come on, spill the tea.
Yeah. Ooh. Alright. Woo. This is light work.
Come on, spill the tea.
Yeah.
I'll tell you something. Do you know about names? Yeah, just okay. So, do you know that last night we were going to the That's where.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for being here. You know, it's the time of year again when we're all getting excited over the players coming out of the draft and dreaming and imagining about how our team can become a real contender if we make the right choices. Some of our team needs were addressed in free agency. Travis Etienne going to be in the backfield with Kamara, Dave Neal, Kendre Miller. David Edwards is going to help shore up the offensive line. Caden Ellis is back where he started. We have tight end Noah Kent, DB Terrell Burgess, and we added Zach Wilson to the quarterback room. I'm sure there are some that I missed. Do correct me if I'm wrong. So now our needs are edge, wide receiver, cornerback, linebacker, and offensive lineman. The draft has always been the clearest window into who the Saints are as an organization. And before we talk about this year's class, we're going to need to go back and look at the Saints draft history under Mickey Loomis. We'll get in that later. We're going to walk through how those drafts actually happened, what shifted in 2018, and why Kellen Moore is drafting with a completely different purpose to reshape this roster into a winner again. The Saints draft history under Mickey Loomis tells the truth of how we got here. When Mickey has a football mind beside him, Peyton and Ireland, or Ireland and Moore, drafts tend to go well. When he doesn't have a football mind, or refuses to listen to the football mind beside him, he fails. Mickey's drafts have been characterized by long stretches of mediocrity with two elite peaks, 2006 and 2017, with a definite decline after 2017. Those two drafts, they stand out as the high water marks for this organization. They weren't just good drafts, they were foundational. 2006 was Peyton's draft that helped propel us to the Super Bowl in 2009. In 2015, Jeff Ireland came on. He rebuilt the draft process, modernized the scouting department, fixed the evaluation system, and brought discipline back to the board. And the 2017 draft was his masterpiece, arguably the best NFL draft ever, producing both the offensive and defensive rookies of the year in Lattimore and Kamara, and multiple-time Pro Bowlers, again, A.K., Laddie, Hendrickson, an All-Pro, Ramczyk, and players who became starters and contributors for other teams, Anzalone and Marcus Williams, who was with us for a while, when their Saints tenure was done, either via trade or free agency. Ireland's drafts also gave us Davenport, Eric McCoy, C.J. Gardner-Johnson, and Adam Troutman. Those were the years where the Saints rebuilt the core of the team and set the trajectory for the next era. But here's where the shift happened. In 2018, Mickey Loomis pulled the Jerry Jones on us. That was the moment he started believing that he was the architect behind those great drafts, instead of recognizing the structure, the scouts, and the football minds who actually drove those decisions. And from that point on, you could see the difference. The discipline slipped. The identity slipped. The process slipped. The Saints went from drafting with clarity and purpose to drafting with emotion, impulse, and I know better than you energy. That's why this year matters. Because Kellen Moore isn't drafting to chase ghosts or egos. He's drafting to reshape this roster into a winner again, the same way those 2006 and 2017 classes reshaped the team back then. The Saints, under Kellen Moore and Brandon Staley, have a very clear blueprint. On defense, they want discipline over chaos, length on the edges, smart safeties, and linebackers who process faster than they run. On offense, they want timing, physicality, and reliability, receivers who win on structure, linemen who can pass protect in space, and skill players who make the quarterback right. This is how I built the Saints 2026 draft class. I'm going to break down my 2026 draft class, not just the players, but the philosophy behind the reason why I would draft such players if I were the Saints general manager. This wasn't a hype draft. It wasn't a consensus draft. This was an identity draft. I thought I drafted the way real front offices do, by scheme, by role, by coaching fit, and by value. I drafted players who fit the jobs, not the headlines, and not the trendy pick this week. So, I'm going to tell you now my pick breakdown. My first pick, number 8, Keldrick Falk, edge. And the reason I picked him at number 8, he may not last to number 8, but if you want him, you better get him early. Now, I also draft archetypes. Keldrick Falk can anchor the strong side, and he's only edge in this class who fits that job. When you think about what player he might be like, think Cam Jordan. Chris Johnson, cornerback, at number 40 is my second pick. He's a Staley man, match quarters technician, smart and disciplined, and as far as I know, keeps his eyes out of the backfield. When you think of a Saints player, think Quincy Riley, but they say he's better. My third pick with number 73, Chris Bell. Chris Bell has played with Shelf before. He spent a good bit of last year injured, but the way I hear it, he's coming along very nicely from that injury, and he's going up the draft boards. But because of his injury history, he may fall far enough for the Saints to pick him at 3. Pick number 4, Tarian York, linebacker. This man has to be the quarterback of the defense, so I picked him for the traits that he needed to have. He's a good processor. He sees what he sees, and he diagnoses it, analyzes it, and makes a decision about how to defend it. And he's an excellent communicator, also from the Big 12. When you think of Tarian York, think back to the Dome Patrol. Think Sam Mills, the mighty might, the brains of the defense back then. The 5th pick, at 136, Austin Barber, offensive tackle. Developmental, yes, but athletic enough for Moore's protections. This is the Kelvin Banks light pick. At pick 150, I've chosen Elijah Surratt. He may not be on the board at 150, but this year's wide receiver class is the deepest in some time. I picked Surratt because he moves the chains, possession receiver, and he blocks and wins in structure. He's the wide receiver 2, wide receiver 3 archetype. Pick 170. Cole Wisniewski, safety. Very, very intelligent. And he is the kind of safety that Staley likes. And you think Jonas Sanker when you think of him. My 8th and last pick at 190 is another wide receiver, Johnny Wilson. He's a hybrid wide receiver tight end. He's a big red zone mismatch, and role specific in his use. And Kellen Moore, the way I hear it, loves those late round matchup pieces. This is Johnny Wilson. Okay. I didn't go for fantasy. I built a range accurate, or what I thought was a range accurate draft. I picked Falk because I figured he was the only player who wouldn't fall. Johnson is a coin flip at 40. Bell, I think, is perfect at 72. York, I think, is a lock at 132, and that because of his size. Barber is in the range. Surratt is an easy pick at 150. Wisniewski, so they say, automatic at 170. And Wilson guaranteed at 190. And every pick was made where the league actually draft those particular archetypes. I'm not going to call this a mock draft. I'm calling it roster construction. I drafted by identity, by scheme, by coaching philosophy, and by value. And the result is a class that hopefully looks like it came straight out of the Saints front office, and hopefully they'll draft some of these. Not because I copy them, but because I have a very specific criteria by which I evaluate these prospects coming out of college. So, did you notice my question at the beginning? The question that asks you, there are 2 wide receivers who led a franchise in career receiving yards and were never included on a Pro Bowl roster. Can you name them? Please go and put your answer in the comments. And while you're there, please give me a like and a share and a subscribe if you're not already subscribed. That's my draft. You know, last year I hit on one. I'm keeping my fingers crossed. Who dat?